Hi, this is Steve again, Especially Auto, located in beautiful East Tennessee. In the previous videos, we have shown problems and solutions for what we call Why Do Speedsters Leak? I thought it would be appropriate to summarize all of this because we covered a lot of territory, and I think that it should be something that we understand all of the problems and all of the possibilities clearly. But let's begin with a presentation of what everybody has to begin with in trying to solve this problem. This is a standard setup for a Speedster side curtain. You notice that it's got a garnish mold at the top. It has the receptacles for the side curtains, which all of them have to have. You'll also notice that we have a place up front that has been traditionally the leaking area of the car. You notice that the windshield post is moved forward about 1.5 inches from the edge of the door. This is the way Speedsters were built, and it's what we maintain to keep the correct look. Up at the top, once again, you've got the intersection of the windshield frame, the side curtain, and the top, which is also a source of leaking. Along the top of the top of the side curtain, rather, there's a flap which goes along the entire length and is part of what is supposedly part of the sealing of the side curtains and the solutions. So, knowing that, seeing what we have to deal with, we'll now move forward to our summary and then eventually to what we consider an alternative to the side curtain issue. Now we'll make our final summary of all of the solutions that we've seen in the past. But before we do, we want to remind you that all of these solutions were compared against a common criteria. Those criteria were effectiveness. The solution should embrace an effective way of sealing out the elements that we're trying to prevent coming in the car. That includes water, cold, air, heat, and anything that you don't want in the car. The second of the criteria was convenience. The solution should be convenient to utilize with the car. If it's difficult, it takes away from the effectiveness because you have to store them, remove them, move flaps around. So it's got to be a convenient solution. The third is obstruction. The use of the solution should not obstruct the normal use of the car in any way. That includes visibility, driving, using the window or whatever the solution is to pass through toll booths, ATM machines, fast food restaurants, the things that we do every day. The fourth item was storage. If the solution requires storage in the car, one should consider that seriously. Speedsters do not have excessive storage space, and also the damage that might occur to the solution when it is in storage. The fifth and last is appearance. In our opinion, the general appearance of the Speedster should remain unchanged. It should look as close to the original car as possible. Solutions that require moving the windshield post towards the door and closing up the gap that is such a problem, putting rubber seals on the windshield post, in any way in changing the appearance of the car should not be done. The most important of these criteria is effectiveness, because after all, we are trying to seal out the water, wind, noise, cold, and heat from intruding into the car. It should be noted that each of the previous solutions could be altered in some way to improve one or more of their criteria items, but usually at the sacrifice of one of the others. What were those solutions? Well, as you saw in the 4 previous presentations, the first one reviewed was called an oversized side curtain. And just as it is stated, it's just a larger side curtain which fits tightly within the flaps provided by the top. The second solution was a steel framed perimeter side curtain made of plastic. These were offered in 2 possibilities, one with a sliding pane and then nothing but a fixed pane. They had some advantages. they had some disadvantages. That can be seen in those presentations. The third solution was the use of a plastic non-frame side curtain, which was attached to a means of attaching that to the door of the car by the means of some pegs and peg holes. Those proved to be fragile, hard to store. Once again, you can review that solution to see the opinion about that one. The last was the rolled-up window. And of all the solutions presented to date, that one probably gave the best of all of the criteria. But even it lacked some of the fundamental requirements of the effectiveness by not sealing out the things that we were trying to seal out. One other thing should be noted is that speedsters don't just leak at the side curtains. There are other areas. A leak should be defined as water, wind, cold, heat, and noise. They would include leaks at these places: between the body and the bottom of the windshield seal, between the windshield frame and the top header, between the glass and bottom of the windshield seal, between the glass and the windshield frame itself. Also at the body penetration, where the windshield posts go down through the body and are restrained from below. Also at each of the windshield wiper shaft posts. Careful attention there, because water will puddle in the little depressions in the body, and if it's not sealed very well there, it will drip down on your foot. And the last is between the lower body and the interface of the Volkswagen pan. The Volkswagen base cars have a real problem with this, and they could be corrected considerably by some judicious use of urethane, silicones, and a lot of effort and some careful research in what's going on where the water might come in. This process is obviously something that would be done more easily during the assembly of the car, but obviously in too many cases they are neglected. Now, it is not a requirement that the Speedster be protected from the intrusion of the elements we've mentioned before. However, if one wants to use the car in any driving conditions other than a fair weather Sunday afternoon, some attempt must be made. The 356A Roadster and the Cabriolet are examples of further attempts to weatherproof the cars. In closing, I encourage anyone or any company who has developed a solution not mentioned in the discussions above to please contact me, provide me with the data, and I will include a presentation of that solution as part of this discussion. We are, after all, trying to get a historic collection of the problems and the solutions, and we invite anyone to present their solution. Thank you for your visiting and the feedback that we have received. Our next presentation will be discussing Specialty Autosport's alternative to the leaking Speedster.